I was born in France, but I came to Canada, Montreal, Canada, when I was 6 years old. I was very much into visual art when I was young. My dad was a post-production supervisor, but he was always very much into tech. And for some reason, like he had a big VHS camera and he had a tape-to-tape. In elementary school with some friends, we were allowed to, instead of making an oral presentation of something, we were allowed to make a movie. And we were like the only kids who were able to make movies at that time. It never occurred to me that this was something interesting or that film was something interesting. I was consuming films like anyone else. I loved movies. So as soon as I knew I wanted to make movies, I started shopping around for different schools. My aunt, Danielle Suissa, was the dean of the LA Film School at the time. She said, like, if you're shopping around, just shop around here. I looked at the program, she talked about it, and I was like, yeah, why not? That sounds great. I'm going to the mecca of filmmaking, like, sure. What I learned from my experience at the LA Film School was that it's so important to try every role on a set, in post-production, in pre-production, to understand the role and the craft of everyone. And if you do it yourself, you'll get to know it better. You'll know how to talk to these people later on if you become a director or a DP or whoever you want to become later on. And that's the opportunity that the LA Film School gave me. I think my proudest accomplishment would have to be Dallas Buyers Club. I was ready to co-edit with Jean-Marc. I felt so lucky to have that experience, to have that opportunity. And I loved the script and I knew we had something very special, so I gave everything I had. That really jump-started the rest of my career, not just because, again, we were nominated, but just for the way we worked, Jean-Marc and I, and how we told that story. It set the bar for the rest of what I was going to do later on. When I was working on Wild, I was again editing from home in Montreal in my basement. I didn't even think about the Oscars at all. Like, to me, I was in the thick of it. The morning of the nominations, my mom calls me and it's like, it's incredible. I just saw on the news Dallas Buyers Club was nominated for best this and this and this and that. And I'm like really happy for everyone on the team. So I wanted to congratulate Jean-Marc about everything that him and his team had done. And so I call him. I hear that he's waking up and I'm like, oh, did I wake you up? You're usually, awake much earlier than that. He's like, yeah, I didn't sleep well. I'm like, well, I don't know if you know, but we were nominated for this and this and that. And he's like, oh, wait a second. I got tons of emails and texts and what's yeah, and we were nominated for editing too. I'm like, what? No. He's like, yeah, we've been nominated for editing. I'm like, oh, so I was so happy. At that point, he's like, but don't get distracted. We need to finish this movie and you're gonna get a lot of phone calls and let's get back to work. I'm like, yes, sir. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't have much time to enjoy it at the time until we came for the actual Oscars. What I love the most about working in this business is probably to be able to be a part of the world's imagination, of people watching a movie and sort of be responsible for their feelings at that time. And it's something I take a great deal of passion, and I try to work on the most when I'm working on a cut is to make sure that it's targeting as many people as possible and to get a specific reaction. It's an amazing feeling to know that they're laughing at the right place, that they're crying at the right place, and sometimes they surprise you too. You're like, you did something that I don't think they're gonna react to it, but that's how I feel, and they react to it, and it's really a strong feeling.